Excuse me, this week we are kind of continuing, kind of like warming up to and going through kind of different stages of leadership, kind of building a foundation, just like when you're building a foundation for your business, when you're just getting started as a consultant. There are some key steps that you want to make sure that you begin doing early on to build that foundation, and leadership is no different. It's not only about helping your new team members build their foundation, but also making sure that you are building yours, and you're making sure that as you grow, that you're, have that foundation to fall back on. You build a house of cards, of course, that can easily be blown down if you don't work on that foundation. And what we, one of the negatives of the direct sales industry I hear a lot of times is, I need something more stable, or I need something more secure, I need something more guaranteed. And while I understand that, the problem is not that the industry isn't stable or isn't guaranteed or isn't any of those many things, but sometimes we do not focus on that foundation and doing those foundational things in order to build our business to where it would be stable. There was always going to be a little bit of an influx, kind of an up and down with your direct sales company, but it should never be a feast or famine type thing. So one of the things with leadership is every single new consultant, when they come on, there are these things that you want to make sure you do. And we're going to talk about all 10, actually I threw in there, so all 11 of them. And not only do them, but why you need to do them, why they are so important, why it is building their foundation as well as yours, and why you need to do this for the longevity of your business. Now, when new consultants come on, and we'll talk about this in a second, they're going to have different goals. They're going to have, different things that they want out of the business, and that is fine. As a leader, it's your job to know what those are. We'll talk about that in a second. But also to make sure that regardless of whether they want to be, like I wrote an article yesterday about, are you a business owner or a hobbyist? Because the thing is, your company or your team is going to be made of a mosaic of different people with different goals. You're going to have people who are going to want to make $1 Million Club. You're going to have people who just want to pay off one credit card. You're going to have people who are more wholesale, and they just want to be able to get their own, feed their own addiction, so to speak, and not, not even necessarily work the business. When you have people like that, I still suggest doing these things because, I don't know how many people on my team started out by saying they only wanted a discount, and either circumstances changed or something, and they decided to actually turn the business into a business. So you want to make sure, again, that you've got those foundational things done with them, so that if A, they change their mind and want to do the business, or B, them saying they just want to be wholesale was really just kind of an excuse or a defense mechanism, that they've got that foundation. So, all right. So first of all, when it comes to leadership, you do not need to feel like have to know everything. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to know everything. There's no reason, because the thing is, you're never going to know everything. I'm still learning. I'm a coach. I've got 10,000 members that I work with, and I still learn new things that I, of course, pass along. And in leadership, that's going to be part of what you do. But don't feel like you need to learn everything before you can get started, or even before you can be an effective leader. So as long as we're getting like these 10 core things done, and you have those leadership traits that we talked about last week, you're good to go. So number one is to get her signed up. Now this, of course, is a no-brainer, but it's not just about making sure she gets signed up. If you have our Diva Success System Planner, or if you use the new consultant pages in the Diva Success System Planner, whether it's a custom one or the original one, there is a place for you to write in your new consultant's ID and password. And people are like, why do you need to know that? Isn't that a secure thing? I will tell you, if it has not happened yet, it will. When it's a Saturday night, it's the last day of the month, one of your team members has just had a fantastic party. She's got until midnight your time to, put that order in. And for whatever reason, she can't reset her password, or she can't remember what her ID number was, or, whatever kind of stuff that comes up. And she's going to be in a total panic. It happened to me more times than I can count, so it was no problem for me to just give them their username and password. It's kind of like a backup storage. There was another time, I live in Pensacola, Florida, and so just, 30 minutes to my west, we have a tunnel, the Mobile Tunnel. Some of you may be familiar with that. And we would go to Mobile all the time and do parties. And a friend of mine was on her way home, one of my team members, and there was an accident in the tunnel. Last day of the month, all that kind of stuff. And so I ended up having to log into her account, and I literally placed every single order. She was sitting in the car with it in park because she wasn't going anywhere, and we literally entered every single one of those orders. So you want to get her signed up and then start a file. What I have on the Diva Success System, the planner page, we have all of our information in the front and then all the recognition in the back. If you don't have one of those planners, you still want to start a file because you want to keep the recognition. You want to keep, we're going to talk about the 90-day action plan, and stuff like that. You want a place to put all of this stuff. So that's number one. Number two is 6 weeks to success coaching calls. Now, this is available in our Diva store, but I believe you have this already. I think you got it as soon as you signed up to be a leader. If you did not, shoot me an email and I'll send it over to you. The 6 weeks to success coaching call series is exactly what it sounds like. I have laid out every single thing that you need to go over the first 6 weeks with a new consultant. It covers everything from marketing, gardening, hostess coaching, party presentation, customer care, leadership, follow-up, like all of that. It covers it all. So when a new consultant signs up, and if you're using the Diva Success System and you're using Team Tuesday, then what I did is as soon as you signed up on my team, get them signed up, I start their file, I do whatever, and I say, okay, awesome. Well, I want to help you get started on the right foot. So let's start with our coaching calls. I do all of my team calls on Tuesdays. So what works better for you, morning or afternoon? They would say, whatever. And we would book it. And I would say, okay, great. So for the next 6 weeks, I'm going to call you at 10 o'clock on Tuesday morning. And we'll go through some training real quick. You can ask questions, stuff like that. You can call me any other time, but I want to make sure that we touch base at least that Tuesday and have these 6 weeks of calls to help you get started. Everything you need is in that packet. You can give them a packet, you can keep a packet. It's got the training, it's got the homework, it's got the everything. But start these calls. A lot of times I have people that say, oh, I signed up and I never heard from my leader again. Or the leader says, well, she signed up and now I can't get her to answer the phone. Start on that initial conversation by trying to set up these 6 weeks to success coaching calls so that you guys can work together. The friendship, the relationship that you will have after these 6 weeks calls, if you're able to do them all together, will be completely unmatched. That is a great opportunity for you to bond with your new team member. You can train her, and this is not overly difficult stuff. It's very, very basic, bare stuff. So again, the friendship and the relationship that you can have after these 6 weeks calls, plus when you do this with your team members, you want to coach them to do the exact same. So as she is signing on new people, you're kind of setting that example. She's signing on new people and starting these 6 weeks to success calls as well, so she can kind of follow down the line. Number 3 is to get her connected with the team. So one of the things about the direct sales industry is it's not a solo business. Even though we are solopreneurs, so to speak, being a part of a team is a big deal, and people want to feel a part of something bigger than themselves. So make sure that you immediately get her plugged into the team. If you're using a Facebook group, now here's the other thing too. I highly suggest, even if you only have 2 team members, that you create your own Facebook group. Yes, your upline, or whatever probably has one as well, but they can get lost in the shuffle, get lost in the mix. You want to have your very own Facebook group for your very own team so that you guys can have that sisterhood and that closeness. You can put files up that you want to promote, put images up. Now, don't think that you have to, especially if you only have a couple people, that you have to have this wild and crazy active group. It's just a resource. It's just a place to connect. So you don't have to spend all your time trying to make it, this party or whatever in there, especially as it's growing. But do have your own group so that they can have their own, your own place to be. Next is to help her choose a business name. So one of the things with branding and with standing out from the crowd and all of the other consultants in your company and even in your industry is to have your own business name. This does not have to be elaborate. This does not have to, you don't have to stress out over this. It can be really simple. I had Parties by Lindsay, like whatever your domain, I had partiesbylindsay.com. You want to create something that is going to make you stand out. If you are with a company that has tens of thousands of consultants or even 1 million consultants, how are you going to have people find you? How will they know to come to you and not somebody else in your company, or to even go to the corporate office? If you, like for instance, if you are a Mary Kay representative and you connect people to that they're using Mary Kay, what is going to keep them from going to marykay.com the next time they need something? You need to have something that can kind of make you like, yes, I'm a rep for Mary Kay, but this is why you want to come to me. So help your new consultants understand why branding is so important and help them come up with a business name. It's a big deal for customer loyalty. It's a big deal for the longevity of your business. And here's the other thing too, and corporate offices don't like it when I say this, but what happens if you change companies? What happens if the company goes under? We've had that happen where people have built their entire business based on a company name, the corporate name, and then the corporate name goes out of business and they have to completely rebrand. You want to brand you, and you want to help your new consultant brand them. Because the one thing, and you can tell them this is one of the big things in our industry, the one thing that no other consultant in the whole wide world has is you. That's it. That's the only thing. If you are in Mary Kay and there's however many bazillion Mary Kay representatives, you all have the same products, the same hostess plan, the same compensation plan, same opportunity, same success plan, same all of that. The only thing that you have that nobody else has is you. And so having a business name and branding is all part of that. Next is to help her get her website set up. Now, I put on here online shopping, but there may be more to that. So if you're, most companies now are almost kind of a plug and play. As soon as you sign up, you get your replicating website. If not, help them get those steps set up, because before your new consultant gets her kit or anything else, she can begin, again, creating that foundation and starting to promote her business if she has that online presence in the website. So normally there's some things that you have to configure. Do you have, is there a shipping cost that you have to configure? Can you upload a photo of yourself? Can you upload a My Success story or something along those lines? Even if a consultant is brand new, if there is a section for you to put your story, her story, whatever, make sure that is filled out. One of the things that I really get frustrated with when I do, for instance, our holiday gift guides and such, is how many websites that I go to for these consultants who are obviously actively working their business, because otherwise they wouldn't be participating in our gift guide. But I go to their site and there's like, a grayed out whatever photo, and there's no information about them. Make sure that your site, even the replicating website, is still you. Coach your new people to understand, again, they need to put, even if they're signing up the very first day, there is no success story yet, but you can talk about what clicked in the business. Why did they decide to get involved? What are their goals? If somebody's getting into your business because they want to pay off their college, tuition or whatever, put that in the success story, that stuff that people will connect with. So you just want to make sure, again, that website has everything that it needs. If you have to configure the shopping cart part of it, do that. Also, show her how to set up, if there's a way to create coupon codes, or if you can, create the mailing list. What do they need to know? It's going to be different for every single company. So just make sure that your new consultant understands how her new replicating website works. Next thing is to order the starter business tools. I'm a huge Vistaprint fan. You guys know that. I promote them all the time. Let her see how you order from Vistaprint. Make sure you're on that mailing list for Vistaprint. They send out, these 40% off things all the time. Those are great specials. They do them often. So there's no reason why you should ever run out of anything, but show her. Ooh. Yay, there we go. Show her how Vistaprint works, how she can upload a logo, where she can go to find the logo, if you guys have a business center or something like that where they need to go to find it, all of those things. And business cards are not the only thing that she needs. One of the best things that I ever did, this is a Vistaprint, was get a self-inking stamper, which I got for like $4 as an add-on product. But all that says is for deposit only and my account number. And so this is what I use, and every time I get a check, I would stamp it. It made my deposits so much easier than having to sit there and sign all of them and stuff like that. So you can get a for deposit only stamper. You can get a stamper that has your contact information that you can stamp your order forms, your catalogs, all of that kind of stuff. And most of the time, if you set up like a Vistaprint account, they will send you all of those things that you need. So huge fan of Vistaprint. Now, number 7, if you've done a kickoff party, you can do this the very same night. Otherwise, this one you may want to try to do in person. Otherwise, use a service like Click Meeting that we're using right now, or use something like Skype or Google Hangouts or something to where you can really kind of have, Zoom is another great one, where you can really kind of have some more interaction if you can't be there in person, and show your new consultant how to use the website. I am always kind of mind blown when I find people who do not know how their own ordering system works. How do you process credit cards? Can you bundle products for deeper discounts? You know, are there things that you need to know? Do you have gift cards? Can people redeem gift cards? Can you redeem gift cards? You know, how does that work? Help your new recruit with her first order, even if it's a mock order that you don't actually process. Make sure she understands every single bit of that process. This is a foundational building block. Don't just assume that everybody is techie and can figure it out. Also, there's always, in every single software, there are these little kind of, I don't want to say trade secrets, but hidden secrets and stuff, things that you can do to manipulate the software a little bit. Sometimes it's ordering, you know, more of one product for a deeper discount, or bundles, or something along those lines. Those are things that you know and you have learned from the time you've been in business that it's your job to pass on. But corporate offices, I can tell you, the 2 corporate offices that I worked at, one of the #1 things that we got phone calls for were people who did not understand how the order process worked. And they have either called because they have no idea how to do it, or they've called because they've made a mistake. So that's the second part of this, is to make sure, what happens if you submit an order wrong? Is there anything that you can do? You know, all those many things. Maybe consider, I actually had a checklist that I created for my team members before they play. You know, it's kind of like before you hit submit, and it went through the list of all the things to do. But that would be different, excuse me, for my company as it would be different for yours as well. Number 8, any kickstart or getting started kind of incentives. Most every company has some sort of getting started incentives to help, you know, your new recruits get up on the right foot. But some of them are confusing, okay? So you want to make sure that you explain this, and this is another reason why you want to get that website and everything set up immediately so that she can begin working on this right away. Most of these incentives start like the first month, calendar month, or even first 30 days from the date that they sign up. Well, if it takes 10 days for them to receive the kit, then they've only got 20 days to be able to reach that first milestone, unless, of course, you have that website set up and they can begin promoting and taking orders and such right away. But explain how this works in detail and help cheer them on to it. The thing is, your corporate office has gone to great lengths to customize this and create this for you. And this is an incentive reward program that doesn't cost you anything. This one's coming from the corporate office. So this is recognition to your team members that you don't even have to pay for or worry about or anything. So you want to cheerlead this on big time. Not to mention, every one of these is designed to build that foundation that we're talking about. So they're based on sales. Most of them have a recruiting factor in there also. So they've got sales, so they teach you how to sell and how to do parties, but they also have the recruiting factor in there because it is so very important, as we know, to start right away by building your team. So if you own your own business and you don't have something like this is one of the most important things to have in the direct sales industry, is like a fast track, kickstart, whatever it is that incentivizes those first couple of months. One thing that I will tell you, when a new consultant signs up, you've got about a 2-week window that they stay excited about the business. And in those 2 weeks, they need to have some success from somewhere, whether it is people ordering, whether it is parties on the calendar, whether it is a new recruit wanting to sign up, whether it is striving for and achieving that first goal or whatever. Those first couple of weeks are super critical, which is why this list of top 10 is so important, but also why this Kickstart incentive is so important as well. Where'd I go? Or Dana keeps getting kicked out. She sent me a message that he was getting kicked out. All right, so the 90-day action plan. This is huge, and this is in your leadership library. The 90-day action plan I actually put together with a certified life coach from ICF. So this is more than just a goal sheet. This is an action plan. So it talks about the things that she wants from her business and the things that she's going to have to overcome. It goes into the psychological side of your goal setting and obstacles, and then reaches over into the bold goals that I suggest. But the thing about the 90-day action plan is this is going to give you a very clear-cut indication of what it is that your new consultant wants from the business. Like we said, even if they want to be a total hobbyist, fine. That is fine. We're going to talk next week about the top 10 kinds of consultants, and there are hobbyists in there. There are the some-timers that they'll show up to meetings every once in a while and you'll be delighted to see them, and then you'll go months without even hearing from them, but they're still a vital part of your team. So this 90-day action plan gives you a clear-cut look at what it is they want. The other side of the 90-day action plan that is so important is it lets you know how your new consultant wants you to treat them as well. There is a section in there that talks about what they need from you, because there are basically two kinds of people, how they want leadership. Some want you to hold their hand and help them every way, and they know that they need somebody there to cheer them on. Then there's the flip side where people are like, hey, I'll call you if I need you, otherwise I'm fine. The reason why you need to know that is because if you have an I need you to hold my hand person and you don't call them but once a week or once a month, they're going to feel like you've abandoned them, right? And you're not a great leader because you're not there and you're not checking in. On the flip side, if you've got the person that's like, hey, I'll call you if I need you, and you're trying to call them every day, suddenly you're a piranha and you're driving them crazy and overbearing and all this kind of stuff. So the thing is, it's a whole damned if you do, damned if you don't know what it is that you are dealing with. So make sure you fill out this 90-day action plan. If you can do it in person over coffee, fantastic. If you can do it using Zoom or whatever, it is one of those kind of like the 6 weeks to success and stuff, where it is better to do it a little bit in person if possible, or at least live. But make sure they fill out that 90-day action plan. All right, I gotta speed up. The last thing is to let her shadow to a party. If this person is local, take them to a party. The best training that they're ever going to get is live. And so you can see that every single party has a different personality and a different way that you have to handle it. Part of success in direct sales is being a little bit of a chameleon and being able to match what it is that we're walking into. So some parties are going to be super wild and crazy and exciting and laughing and, whatever. Others are going to be a little subdued and a little, more relaxed and chill, and everybody just kind of sitting around enjoying one another. So you have to be able to either rise to the occasion or sink down to join in. Not saying you have to totally change who you are, but it is important to make sure that, everything stays kind of, whatever with the party. So by taking your consultant to a live party, she can see kind of how this works, can get used to being in front of guests and talking. The spotlight is not on her, it's going to be on you, but it's a great opportunity for her to kind of share that spotlight. I used to try to take a consultant to every single party that I did, whether they were new or not. And here's the reason why. Number one, I performed better when I had people watching. I seemed to do better when I knew that I had someone watching and learning. I'm a natural born teacher. It's what I do. So it helped me do better. It also helps the person that was watching, because every time you watch a live show, you're going to learn a little something new. It's kind of like why sometimes we do training calls more than one time, because we learn by repetition. So there may be something that you may have seen this particular training, a year ago when we did it, which was very similar, but you may have picked something else up from this one that you missed last year. So it was great for that. But the third reason why I loved taking somebody with me, the party goers would see that I was training in person. The party goers would see the relationship that I had with team, and that I was willing to take people with me and train them on the job and stuff like that. So when it came to the recruiting aspect of it, they saw that I was a good leader, and I was there for my team and going to really help them and train them. So if you can have them shadow you to a party, great. If they are not local, see if you can find, if they're not local, see if you can find somebody local that they can attend a party with, or maybe even, use Periscope. See if you can Periscope a party or Facebook Live a party. Especially, gosh, you guys, I'm so excited about Facebook Live. If you haven't seen the training that I did for that last week, it's going crazy. I love Facebook Live for our industry. I really think we're going to benefit more than anybody else. But you could literally create an event. Here's the thing. Your hostess is probably going to have a Facebook event anyway, right? You could turn an in-home party into a Facebook Live party. If you add your team members to the event, like anybody could watch it. Like, how cool is that? Huge, huge, huge excitement about Facebook Live. But anyways, so even if they're not local, they can still shadow or can still view a live party. One more thing that I had to throw in here that I think is so important is to make sure that you always listen and stay positive. New consultants are as frustrating as toddlers sometimes. I totally get it. It's like having a toddler that asks a million questions, or that, acts a little unruly or whatever. Sometimes we all behave that way, okay? But your attitude is what is going to matter. The same way as in parenting, your attitude, your vibe, your whatever is contagious. So if you're having a lousy day, you either got to turn it off, or that's just not the best time for you to be around that new team member. Because the thing is, especially a new team member, they're not going to understand that it's just a lousy day. It just is what it is. It's just a lousy day. It is not an indication of the business or your leadership skills. There's no such thing as a party emergency. Nothing cannot be fixed. Nothing. Even if you double charge somebody on a credit card, which I did one time at a party, nothing cannot be fixed. I made a few phone calls. Was it stressful? Yes. Was it frustrating? Yes. Did I have to go way over and above to really make sure that my customer service skills were on point to take care of her? Yes. You know what ended up happening? She became one of my all-time best customers and best hostesses. She never joined the team, but she was an amazing hostess and had a party every year. And she said it was because of how well I took care of her when I screwed up. So, just understand there's no such thing as a party emergency. There's nothing that can't be fixed. So always stay positive, always be the light, always be the one that finds the silver lining no matter what's going on. Listen, understand, but make sure that you remember dumping up, not dumping down. Make sure, especially with a new consultant, that you keep everything positive. All right, any questions? All right. Well, I hope you guys use this as a checklist. I think that what I'm going to end up doing is probably putting this checklist in the new, like in a new recruit thing, so that you can maybe start new recruit folders or something along those lines to have this checklist. Your homework is to not only do this with new consultants, but I kept getting knocked out of we can see you come and go. Thank goodness this records. But if you have older consultants, have you done, like maybe you have 5 or 10 girls on your team already, have you done these 10 or 11 things with them already? And if you haven't, then pick up the phone and say, hey, I just want to make sure that you have all of these things done. You know, I want to make sure that you know how to sign up for Vistaprint to make sure you're getting the best deals. I want to make sure you know how to, you know, set up discounts in your shopping cart or all those kinds of things. All of these 10 things are great opportunities for you to build relationships with your new team members. So if you take the time to do this, again, it's not only going to build her foundation, it's going to build your foundation, and it's also going to strengthen that relationship. So make sure you guys are focusing on these 10 or 11 things.